here last night. He's often described as an old soul singer-songwriter. Currently based in Nashville, his music evokes classic 70s singer-songwriters like James Taylor and Neil Young. But he adds a modern, upbeat edge to the storyteller, troubadour persona. He graduated from Berklee College of Music, and he has made a splash in Nashville performing at Bluebird Cafe within a month of moving, sitting in at the legendary venue with Liz Longley in February. He considers himself a student of songwriting, constantly searching for and learning about why songs have the impact that they do. He'll be telling stories and playing some of his songs in connection with his travels. The songs, stories, and miles have shown Sam the true heart of people everywhere and what drives us all, the desire to connect.
Sorry to ruin the end of the speech there, the intro. How are you? This is my first Universalist experience. Well, service experience. Didn't expect to be, leading a sermon my first time. But this is great, I could get behind this. This is great. I'm gonna do a few songs, and I'm gonna tell stories about my journey, and it kind of ties in with the message, I think, a little bit. A lot of the songs I'm writing and the experiences I'm having, I don't have a speech prepared. So if you want to heckle or ask questions, feel free at any time. Well, I've been playing music since I was 13 or 14. And my parents aren't musicians at all, but I was really into playing drums in terrible punk bands. Yeah. And eventually I started to sort of phase out of that, and from that young age I saw I was just playing in a garage. And I could see the connection that music has for all of us, and I was 15 or 16, and my parents got me this cheap little guitar, and I learned how to play a few chords on it, and I ended up going and playing at an open mic, and another open mic, and these horrible, dark, dingy places, and eventually I got booked at a bar, which was not a place that I expected to sort of really see humanity for one of the first times. You know what I mean? I was booked at a bar, and it was my first time ever getting out of my hometown bubble and my other people bubble. I wanted to meet other people, and I remember I was booked at a bar called Murphy's Tap Room, and it was in the summer, and you played for 3.5 hours, and they paid you like $100. Which was great money when you're 15. I was rich. And I had to play, I remember I had to play on the corner of the bar in the main street of Manchester, New Hampshire. And it was interesting because it was the height of the opioid epidemic it was the worst city in the worst state. So it was really rough. I was playing right on the corner there, and I remember it was one of the first gigs I was doing, and these people would walk by that were obviously struggling, and I played all over the city those few years. I used to play in the park. I used to play all over the place. And I remember this song was partially inspired because of one of the deepest connections I had the first time I played there. The manager came over to me and he asked me if I could play a Michael Bublé song, which I thought was interesting because he was this big scary guy, and he asked me if I could play this song. Another summer day has come and gone away in Paris and Rome, but I wanna go home. I miss you, I wanna go home. It's this really sweet song. He starts crying. I'm playing, and he starts crying, and I'm actually gonna play a different song than the one I was gonna play. I'll play this song. This one is a little more to the heart of it. he started crying, and he came up to me and he said that that's my brother's favorite song, and he overdosed yesterday and he died. And so he had taken a video, and he said he was going to send it to his family. And I wrote sort of a suite of songs kind of inspired partially by that. And this is one that I rarely play, but I sort of imagined that I had met his brother, and all these people that would walk by me. I was playing right on the corner, and all these people would walk by me, and I would see crazy stuff happening all the time. I'm sitting there playing Jimmy Buffett, you know. And yeah, and so I wrote this song imagining that his brother Christian, he was one of the people that I had seen playing in the city. I used to play in the summer heat, down in the desert they call Elm Street. I'd sing my songs in a seafood restaurant begging for an ear, and I'd see him from time to time, walking slow down the sidewalk wide-eyed. And it seemed so strange, same state, same age. Wrong lines. But I'd look away, I couldn't bear his face, I couldn't understand. Christian, Christian, where did your wind change? Just a blue-eyed boy from the suburbs, a New England kid like me. Oh, Christian, Christian, something broken, something blue. Was the pain always a part of you? Passed down and born under a bad moon. Christian, Christian, I'm still looking for you. I used to play on the Veterans Park stage. I'd step over the needles left rusting away. When out from behind the shadow of the roadside, he'd stumble to my feet. We really weren't that different, but there I was above, and there he was listening. And it seemed so strange, same state, same age, different broken hearts. Christian, Christian, where did your wind change? Just a blue-eyed boy from the suburbs, a New England kid like me. Oh, Christian, Christian, something broken, something blue. Was the pain always a part of you? Passed down and born under a bad moon. Either way, Christian, Christian, I'm still looking for you. I'm looking for you in the blue sky left behind a morning storm. I'm looking for you when the bluebird finds the note it's reaching for. I'm looking for you when I need to accept the things I cannot change. I'm looking for you when I need I still play in the summer heat. I still sing my songs heavy as my heartbeat. And I hope somehow, wherever you are now, that you can hear. yeah, that was my first time sort of getting out. This is in New Hampshire, by the way. I'm from New Hampshire. I know I sound and look like I'm from Texas, but I'm kidding. But I love Texas. God, this is great. And I'll play the other song from that sort of suite there. I made it my life's goal to get out, and I would play every bar in New Hampshire, every one I wanted to play, and I was coming from this sort of coastal area that had become sort of a yacht area, it was this beautiful place that had become gentrified to all hell, and suddenly I was driving into, playing Hell's Angel bars, and I just remember this song tells the whole thing. I don't even need to talk about it. That's called Hard to Hate. I was booked at a biker bar up north. There was leather jackets and guns on hips. I whipped in my dad's red Prius. I was stuffed in a corner singing Fire and Rain when a Hell's Angel spun towards me. As he was limping over, I swore I was about to die. But then we talked for 20 minutes about his favorite songs from Sweet Baby James. His voice got softer and softer. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they're right in front of you. It's so easy to fall in love when you take the close-up view. When it's not a screen, it's a face, it's a heart, it's a name. It gets pretty hard to hate when you can really see the flame, the fire behind everyone's pain. I gave Kathy. Sorry, it's early for me. I keep messing up the words to songs I've sung 1,000 times. I was booked at a bright pink bachelorette where they wished I was a stripper. Drunk women barking, won't you play Michael Bublé? I picked his saddest one just to be rude, but much to my surprise, one by one they started slowing down. And for 2 whole hours we sang and laughed as we watched the walls fall down. Their faces got softer and softer. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they're right in front of you. It's so easy to fall in love when you take the close-up view. When it's not a screen, it's a face, it's a heart, it's a name. It gets pretty hard to hate it when you can really see the flame, the fire behind everyone's pain. I gave Kathy a bag of chips by the side of the road. I saw the scars on her face as she said, did you know I used to be somebody? I used to be somebody. It's pretty hard to hate someone when they start to look like you. It's so easy to fall in love when you take the close-up view. When When it's not a screen, it's a face, it's a heart, it's a name. It gets pretty hard to hate when you can really see the flame, the fire behind every smile. So I'm gonna do. Can I do 2 more songs? Is that okay? Time-wise, I have no idea how much. Okay. So after that, I went to college in Boston, which was sweet, and then it was not very different. You know, it was an hour from where I grew up. And it was this beautiful, sparkling city, you know. And then I moved to Nashville immediately after that. And when I got there, it was quite a shock. And it was my first time being in the South, which I've learned Texas doesn't really count as the South. Right? It's kind of like a different country, though. You know what I mean? It's a whole other thing. It counts for the South in some ways. And I remember I got there, and it was this sort of remnants of racism and slavery, even, and extreme poverty, and you know, agrarian culture. All that stuff was much more in my face. You know, and I started driving to, rural Kentucky and playing. And I started driving, and I was playing, drive like 40,000 miles a year, you know. And I drive all over the place, and it had to, the only way I could survive really was by developing this empathy and curiosity for what's going on, you know. It's the only way to survive. I mean, I've been in some, you know, I was in Mississippi, and I was falling asleep, and I had just done this little show, and I was hearing gunshots going off, and I was driving up hollers in Kentucky and all that, which I had never heard of that. And again, I know when you look at me, you think that guy is dripping with Kentucky, but you know, and it was just interesting. I've been in situations where just crazy stuff, you know, and playing ABBA in bars in Texas. And I love being able to talk to people from the area, you know. And that's what I like about these house concerts and stuff, and smaller venues. Is you can really like meet people, and it's really cool. And I was in a Target. This was actually in Nashville. I was in Tennessee, and I was in a Target, and I met this woman who was she was this old black lady, and she was really cool, and she was in front of me in line, and she was so thrilled to be buying this Ariel Little Mermaid doll for her granddaughter. She was so thrilled to be buying this doll, and it was when that movie was coming out, it was a black doll, and we ended up talking about it, and she invited me to her birthday party. And she was this really cool old lady. I didn't end up going, but she was this really cool old lady, and I got home, and I was just thinking about that. How it was such a big deal for her to buy that thing, and it was just old lady, and when she was growing up, I'm sure that didn't exist at all. And those little moments, trying to recognize those little moments, has been a big part of my sort of journey, and be conscious of what's going on around me, even the small little things. And so I wrote this song. It's called "So Much I Still Don't See." Well, I filed behind a family, smiling in line. A girl grabbed a doll with dark skin, brown eyes. It slid past the magazines. Grandma beamed. There's so much I still don't see. I grew up on the classics, films of heroes and love. A pale ocean reflecting what I could become. Superman, the president, a father of family. There's so much I still don't see. Oh, there's so much I still don't see. And it's easy to say, sit back down, come on in, the water's fine. It's easy to say we've reached the high ground when your face looks like mine. Times have changed, but they're deep in me, 'cause there's so much I still don't see. Oh, there's so much I still don't see. I turned in my application to a frozen yogurt shop right next to Nordstrom. My parents dropped me off. I waltzed in, shook hands, walked out with a key. Oh, there's so much I still don't see. And I ran off the road a few months back, breathed a sigh of relief as those lights flashed past. I stepped out and smiled, they all walked up to me. Oh, there's so much I still don't see. Yeah, there's so much I still don't see. And it's easy to say, sit back down, come on in, the water's fine. It's easy to say we've reached the high ground when your face looks like mine. Times have changed, but they're deep in me, 'cause there's so much I still don't see. There's so much I still don't see. And just look at me, a Yankee to the core. I read Martin Luther King, I learned about the Civil War. But it all seems so distant, so hard to believe in the million little strings connecting them to me. 'Cause there's so much I still don't see. Oh, there's so much I still don't see. There's so much I still don't see. Alright, everybody. I'm going to do this one more song. That's okay, right? Is that okay? Thanks for giving me your time. I appreciate it. My first sermon. I'm telling everybody back home that I led a sermon in Texas. And I'm going to tell them that it was at a Pentecostal. I'm going to tell them it was everybody on your feet. Okay. This ties in a little bit actually with this song. So I sort of was trying to develop this radical empathy, and I was trying to develop it when I first moved to Nashville, and I was in this way different place. And I had done this show with a Christian artist, and he was a great great songwriter and great guy and everything. I played this last night, and I forget who it was, but somebody requested. Yes, you requested. Yeah. You requested that I play this. And he was a great Christian artist, and his songs were all about, sort of the UU ideals, but in a different framework, more of a Pentecostal framework. But he was a very nice guy and everything, and I went home and I friended him on Facebook, which is where it all went wrong. And he would post these racist, heinous, horrible things all the time. He's a Christian musician, and so I wrote this letter to him in a song, and I just said, if I could really tell him what I actually think, what would that be in a song? And so I figured this would fit in here. And I was never supposed to be a song, but I sort of put some chords over what I was saying, and eventually I won the Kerrville Folk Fest New Folk competition with this song. So write your angry letters into music. That's what I say. That's called Saying Amen. You've got light blonde hair, skin like mine, married in 1990, 2 kids by 95, Bible by your bed, you swear Jesus knows your name, but don't think he doesn't see what you post online every day. And you say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying amen. You got a good job now. You say you got there with your own hands. It's real easy to preach when you don't have to understand that it's not saying your life's been easy or that you haven't worked for your blessings, no, but it hasn't been made harder by the color of your skin. And you say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying amen. Amen now. Amen for my trans friends, brave for being alive. Amen for the Bible and for Jesus Christ. Amen for the women who shouldn't have to fight for their rights. Amen for the millions who don't know they're on the same side. Amen. You say you love a good book, so why don't you take a good look at yourself? 'Cause there are people going through hell that we can't understand. Why don't you care about them? So go on, keep on saying. Go on, keep on saying. Go on, keep on saying. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, you've witnessed my new career as a preacher. So thank you. And thanks again to Pam for having me and James for having me. And thanks for giving me your time.